Okay, let's get started. Thanks for joining us for this session. My name is Lawrence Chu. I'm a Senior Product Manager at Office 365. And this is my co-presenter, Shilpi Sinha. She's a Principal Program Manager also on Office 365. So today, what we're covering would be the tools and tips for administering Office 365. So essentially what we're going to cover is give you an overview of all the tools that we have available to manage the Office 365 environment. And actually, we are also going to show some of the new things that are coming in the next few months. So Office 365 serves over 1.2 billion, Office in general serves over 1.2 billion users around the world. Office 365 plays a big role in that. There's a growing number of people coming on board onto Office 365. As you can imagine, because of the breadth, we deal with many different types of businesses, from very small businesses to very large organizations like I'm sure some of you run. And because of that, we have to meet a diverse set of requirements. So some have to be very simple to use, so the small business owner with very little IT experience can really use it and manage their tenant. And of course, we have to be extensible enough so that for the more advanced users, and which require more configuration or settings, it's extensible enough so that it also reaches that audience. In addition, we also know that mobility now plays a big role. With devices like this now, you're all attached to this. How many of you check email at home? I know I do. And really, there's no discrete notion anymore of work life or work time and personal time. And because of that, you also need the tools so that you can do your work at home. Work just happens, and that's one thing we know as well. And lastly, we know Office 365 is a platform. We try to serve the needs of most people, but there are certain customizations or specializations that we know we cannot meet. And that's where we're looking for a more extensible solution. So starting off with our suite of tools, the first one is kind of the core out-of-the-box solution that we have. It's the Office 365 Admin Center. It's a web-based portal that basically enables you to manage the entire life cycle of administration from setup to all the way to support. It's simple in that we try to surface as many of the common commands and settings that you would use to manage your tenant on the 365 layer. However, it's extensible enough so that in the event, I have to dig deep into Exchange or deep into SharePoint, we also surface up those admin centers as well. The Office 365 admin app is our on-the-go solution. So basically, it's a little bit more contextual. We're not trying to cram the entire Office 365 admin center into the admin app. We're kind of looking for scenarios where, it makes sense. When I'm on the go, I want access to this. I want access to that. PowerShell. So with some of the larger or medium-sized or larger customers, there's a need to automate. So some of the bulk edits, for example. You can do that in the admin center, but it'll take you some time because you're editing one user at a time. However, with PowerShell, you're able to automate that, make your process a lot simpler and faster. In addition, it also offers some additional functionality, maybe the less commonly used functions, perhaps when you're setting up Link, for example, or Skype for Business, for example, you access that through PowerShell. And lastly, what we're calling the Office 365 Management APIs. It's kind of programmatic access to your Office 365 tenant. That gives you the capability to customize how Office 365 integrates into maybe your business tools or your technology solutions. In addition, it enables you to innovate on top. This is where the specialization comes in. If you have a special need, you as an enterprise dev may be able to create a solution for your company or your enterprise, as well as for ISV solution providers. This is an opportunity for you to create a unique value-added solution on top of the Office 365 layer. So the first thing I'll cover today is the Admin Center. Again, like I said, this is the out-of-box solution that kind of covers the entire admin lifecycle. This is the dashboard view. So here you get a general overview of stuff like service health, message center communications. And basically, this is the portal you will use to start out from anything from doing the setup to managing your users, such as user management, group management. This is where you set your service policies, license provisioning, This is where you do your monitoring. So basically, everything that you need to do is essentially out of here, at least the more common tasks and scenarios. What we have delivered over the last, I guess, year or so, we've been rapidly deploying new features and enhancements to really target simplifying the experience. So a lot of the UI, I guess, we've been focusing on is really minimizing the steps, trying to explain what we're doing along the way so that you as a user would understand, hey, this is how the setup works, this is what you're setting up. We're doing stuff like simplifying user management, adding auto license assignment, more details in the user detail panel, kind of giving you a quick, easy way to take a look at the status of what you're trying to do and then edit it and then do something else. Because we know this isn't your core business, this is what you're enabling. You're using this tool to enable your business. We also added additional things to enable you to customize the experience. So whether that's through custom themes or adding custom vanity domains, adding more like generic top-level domain support, really giving you the ability to customize the service to really serve your end users. So it's a service, so it's a journey. So we added a lot of features in the past, but we continue to build on enhancements in the future. Two things that we really focused on this time around was, based on your feedback that we heard, was adding better visibility and more controls. So today we're excited to announce the ability of new and improved reporting, which Shilpi will talk about in a minute, as well as the workload-specific admin roles. This is adding granularity to how you control your administration. Shilpi?
So hi, I'm Shilpi Sinha. I'm a program manager in Office 365. And I'm super psyched to be here and talk to you about the investments we're making in the reporting space. So you saw Lawrence's roadmap of things we've delivered recently, and you saw incremental updates that we've done on reports. We decided to take a step back, really look at holistically what were the reporting needs for our customers and what we've been releasing over the few last milestones. And we decided to take a step back and look at all the feedback and really analyze what were your true needs around reporting. We, in fact, added a reporting, in our reporting pages, we added some feedback UX that actually resonated really well with people. We received a lot of pieces of feedback. We, in fact, processed about 2,500 unique inputs from users. And it was a downpour of responses. We were really excited to see that it was helping us get crisper about the direction we wanted to enhance the reporting capabilities in. So in the next few slides, I'm going to show you the changes that we're bringing about in the reporting space. And you'll see that your inputs are accounted for in our plans. And we're not just providing you capabilities that meet your current needs. We're going to take you forward in your reporting journey to a higher level of richness in the information and insights that you can derive from Office 365 usage. So we're going to give you a lot of visibility on we're going to give you a dashboard that provides you visibility across all your services within Office 365. Today, we provide you insights on metrics on workloads like SharePoint, Exchange, and Lync, and we're going to enhance some of the metrics that you see in there, but we're also going to bring in insights from newer workloads like ProPlus and Yammer. And then we're going to make the UX consistent. Today, when you see a lot of the reports, there's different granularity of data in different reports, and we're trying to make that consistent and give you rich information and consistent experience across all the reports. But most importantly, I want you to walk back from here knowing that we have listened to your feedback, and we're going to give you user-level information about how your users within your organization are using Office 365. So I'm going to walk you through some of the early concepts of designs and some working prototypes of the changes that you're going to see in the next few slides here. So introducing the Office 365 usage dashboard, where you're going to be able to see, get a quick overview of how people within your organization are using Office 365. So in the top left, you see a chart that's giving you a list of a total number of users that are logging in into your service across various services within Office 365. And that gives you a quick glance of general usage in your organization. And then what we'll give you is a set of tiles per workload that enables you to take a quick look at the top metric per workload that signifies usage, that people are using that service. We'll also trend that against the previous period, so you kind of get a sense for the direction in which the usage is heading. And then when you click on any one of these tiles, you'll be taken to the detailed reports that allow you to dig specifically into a particular workload and look at the user actions that are going on inside of that workload. So at a high level, most organizations want to get a good sense of their return on their investments. And this dashboard is intended to give you a quick overview on and a quick way to establish that you're getting value out of your Office 365 subscription. So when you double-click on any one of the tiles here, you'll be able to go into the detailed workload report. And from here, what we want to give you is a trend view for the top-level metric that gives you an overview on like the last 3 months or last 6 months worth of data and so you can see quick trends for organization level information. But then this is where we've brought in the biggest change, is where we've given you the user level details pertaining to that metric right below the trend org level view. So you can start to see how are these numbers adding up based on individual users. And then we've built in a lot of capabilities within this page that allows you to, basically interact with that data. You can filter, sort, group, and you can do export to Excel. In the past, I know we had the limitations in the current reporting UX where you could only export data for about 2,000 users. We're changing that, and you should be able to take down, download information of all your users into Excel and kind of do some quick analysis right there in Excel. And then since we've built such a culture of feedback, we're going to retain that even in our new set of pages. And so we want to be able to hear back from you of things that are working or not, so that you'll see a feedback UX on all our admin pages, including the reporting pages as well. And so in the last 2 slides, I showed you an overview of the out-of-box experience that you'd see in the UX that will be available in the admin portal. But if that doesn't satisfy your need for information and you have an appetite for more analytics, I want to introduce you to the Power BI dashboard that we're going to enable for you. So what you're seeing here is you'll have a content pack available within your Power BI tenancy for Office 365 reporting data. And when you connect to the Power BI content using the content pack, you will be able to see your organization's data populated into a template dashboard that we'll have already created, and you can interact with it, and you can filter further, do further analysis, pin more stuff to the dashboard, share the dashboard more easily across your organization, and really bring in the culture of use for Office 365 and really share that information across too. And all of this will be powered through the new reporting APIs that we will be shipping soon too. So with that, I'm actually going to jump into my demo and show you some working prototypes. So what you're seeing here is a working prototype of the Exchange usage report. So imagine that you were on the dashboard, and then you double-clicked on an Exchange tile, and you get here. So imagine you're a tenant admin in your organization, and you want to really understand the email traffic within your organization. So this chart here gives you a good sense for the emails received, sent, and read within your organization. And it gives you a current month view, which, given that we're in the first week of May, I see only 5 days of data. So I would like to view last 3 months and get a sense for what the trends for this metric was in the last 3 months. And I'm going to be able to go back to data of 6 months. So just one step back, what you're seeing here is a test tenant that I've created with 2,000 users, and we are going to be saving usage data for, all the way back to 6 months. So this is just setting expectation. This is sample data. So once you've looked at the trend view for the email traffic, that's great, but you want to look at what's going on, like how many users, what users are actually doing this. So right below the chart, we have a grid with information about all your users We're showing you information on when was the last they logged in into the system, and then a breakdown of the individual metric that informed the chart above. So you have an ability to look at several different metrics that pertain to Exchange. Some of, for example, we have the client connection. We'll be able to give you browser, OS, and other information as well. So let's say, for example, you clicked on the client connection activity. You'd be able to see the trend view on the monthly aggregates, as well as the 3-month data in the chart grid below. And if I wanted to dig in on any specific day for the month, I can just click on that, and then the grid would load for just data on that day. So this is basically the grid saying, these are the people who logged in on that particular day, and this is the count of the metrics for them. So let's say, for example, here on this, you're seeing the columns for the various email clients. And you know that for Exchange, you want to get a better sense for some of the other metrics as well. You can choose from the managed columns and get a different sense. You can get browser and browser versions, client OS versions as well, storage space used per person. Most interestingly, I want to bring your attention to the license type column, because this is also something that we've been asked a lot in feedback. So we've added a very easy way for you to be able to get your license type information per user that are assigned right here in the grid. And you can move that a little closer here so you can actually do some analysis on which users that are assigned to what licenses and when was the last that they logged in. If you want to see more rows of data than the grid is currently showing to you in this view, you can go into the full screen mode, and you can see just the grid on all of the data that you're seeing here. Obviously, here you can do a lot of, we've enabled a lot of interesting functionality on the grid itself in terms of filter, sort, and so it allows you to do quick analysis right there in the web UX. But if you want, you can also export all of this data into Excel. And so we have the export functionality right here, which will allow you to save the data, and when you bring it open, you'll be able to do some quick analysis right within Excel for this data. And remember, here you'll be able to download all user information. So that was a quick overview on the capabilities within the report UX that we'll be enabling. I want to now walk you through the Power BI integration. So let me first start by talking you how you would get to this point. So imagine that you're a tenant admin and you go to your Power BI portal. You would do get data, which is their way to be able to connect to different data sources. And you'd be able to, you'll find the Office 365 reporting content pack listed in the left nav for Power BI portal. And when you provide the endpoint, point the endpoint to our reporting APIs and provide your credentials, that's all you need to do. Boom, you will have a pre-populated dashboard for your organization. What we've done here is we've basically combined your organization's usage data with your organization's user information. And we've been able to combine the power of these two data sets within and use the power of Power BI and really give you very rich insights. So you'll recognize some of the metrics on this dashboard are the ones that you also see on your UX that will be available out of box. But then you can do you can add additional metrics right here as well. So I'll just walk you through some of the ones. Like I have a list of total enabled users that I have in my tenancy, how many emails they're receiving, the Skype calls that are coming through, total file storage, total Yammer posts, and a lot of these, you saw some of these metrics even on our UX dashboard. But then it starts to get interesting because I can do things like top users across all of Office 365. I can do things like what region are my users connecting from and what workloads are they using. I can do things like which departments within my organization are using Office 365 and how much. One of my favorite reports is actually to look at top users. So I'm going to just walk you through that. So what happens in Power BI, I just have these drill downs that are already created. And I look at the top users, and I see Sonia as my hero. She's using everything in Office 365. And then I say, all right, let me see who's using Exchange. And so I can look at the filters built in here. And I can filter, look at the values. Here I've brought the various workloads. So if I want to only see who's my top Exchange user, and it's Fernanda. And then I can change that, and I say, okay, let me see who's using OneDrive more in my organization, and it's done it. So I can do a little bit of interesting analysis here just to kind of see who's my top consumer across the workloads. But that's interesting. What about departments? Let me see how the various departments within my company are actually using Office 365. And I can build in several views here that help me dig deeper. So it's clear that every department in general has kind of been on a rise in their use of Office 365. And I see that engineering is using Exchange quite a bit. Let me see what devices they've been using. So it looks like they're mostly using it from the PC, and they're mostly active on Outlook. So just starts to give you a good sense of what are the things people are doing. And you can use information like this to really start tracking down your organizational policies. Like if you really want a certain browser version to not be used at all or things like that, you can start getting a sense for who are those people that you need to go and have a gentle talk with and say, please stop using this browser, or whatever, you know. The interesting thing here is that this doesn't stop here, because you have now the ability to interact with that data. So you can do an edit report. And you know, you can look through some of the metrics that I've already played with here. But then I have added another metric here that's around storage. How much email storage have I used across my tenancy? And I can quickly build that chart, because the data model is available to me here right on the right. And then once I like what I see, I can use some of the Power BI functionality to build the right view. And then I can quickly pin that to the dashboard right there. I can save my dashboard, and I go back, and I should be able to see my new chart that I just did. I can pin it up, move it with something else, and boom, right there. I can do sharing directly from here and share the information with the relevant people within my organization to really you know, share insights about Office 365 usage. So with that, my demo is kind of wrapped up, but I'll give you a quick recap of the things that we're enabling for you. So top level things to note, we're going to give you a new usage dashboard that will allow you to get a quick glance on general usage across all services in Office 365. We'll give you detailed tenant-level aggregates and user-level information in the user reports for every specific workloads. And then we'll give you the content pack that will enable you to really become the reporting heroes of your organization. We'll make it so easy for you that you can dish out any report and any insight that anybody in your organization asks for. That's all I have. I'm going to point it over to Lawrence.
I hope you all found that was exciting, because I think the configurability you get now, the enhanced visibility you get now, it's going to be great for you and your organization, because now you know exactly what people are doing with your environment. So with all this increased visibility, we also know, and we've heard, and I know it's taken a little longer, to provide you with more controls. We've heard many times, I want more the ability to divide up the workloads. So starting in June, where we're going to start delivering, rolling out improved compliance through Exchange, SharePoint, and Skype for Business online admin roles. So this would enable your organization, if you organize your IT admins based on workloads, you know, I think this would be right for you. In addition, we added the ability to add multiple admin roles to one admin. So for example, if your admin is a SharePoint online administrator and a Skype for Business administrator, you can now link those two roles together and assign that to one administrator. No longer are you tied to just one admin role. Glad you guys liked that one. So the next tool I wanted to talk about was the admin app. So the admin app we relaunched in March of this year, and it was an update of V1 that I think stayed around for about a year. And we've listened to your feedback, and we heard a lot of the comments you had around what we can do to enhance the admin app. So some of the updates included adding a dashboard view. So again, giving you a quick snapshot at what your tenant is doing on the go. So really, again, focusing on metrics that are relevant to you when you're running around, I guess, untethered from the desk. We added user management capability, the ability to add, edit, delete users if need be, as well as contact them through email and calling. We added the ability for you to manage, to monitor service status. So quickly, we updated the view so that you have an aggregate view. If everything's running fine, like in this case, you don't need to look at the matrix, right? So we give you a summary view. However, when there is an incident, hopefully unlikely, you click on the tile, it takes you to the service incident message, so you know exactly what's the current status and what's going on. Lastly, we added a better way to enable us to communicate with you through Message Center, and we've integrated that also into the app. Some recent enhancements that we added included license management. So now, for example, if you manage your identity on-prem, you can still use this admin app to assign the Office 365 licenses to them. And coming soon, we're looking at adding push notifications. So what this would enable you is at the first sign of a potential or possible service incident, you would get pinged. Assuming you enable that feature on your app, you get pinged that, hey, something's going on. When you click on it, you'll be taken to the latest status within the service status. So what we'll show you today, I'll just give you a quick demo of the admin app if you haven't seen it. And the admin app is available across the 3 platforms, so iOS, Android, and Windows Phone. So the version I'm showing you right now is the iOS version. So this is the dashboard view. And from here, you can easily dive into the user views. And so, for example, if I want to edit Katie Jordan on one of our users, I can easily edit here. Katie forgot her password again. I can quickly reset the password. I can prompt her to, you know what, when I reset this, you're going to have to change it. Okay, yes. And it resets her password. And you can even send her an SMS saying, hey, I've just changed your password. This is your temporary code. You know, once she logs in, then she'll be prompted to sign up. Or, sorry, reset the password. Assigning licenses, that happens here. Again, it's quite easy. It's just a toggle. These are dependent on what services you have in your Office 365 environment. And navigation is relatively easy. So this is, again, let's take a look. So we have a service incident occurring. In this case, since it's degraded, I click on it. It's taken me to the last service incident messages you've received. From here, I can click in, and I can review what is the latest status is ongoing. So the service incident messages all come to this app as well as in the admin center. And Message Center, again here, this is where we communicate out with you, whether there's some changes that you need to do on your side of the service, as well as there might be some some updates that are happening on our side. This is where we communicate with you saying, hey, this is something to be aware of. And from here, you can click in, see the message, and for more information, it'll deep dive you into the browser. Okay, so, and then this is where I can get more information on say, in this case, it's an upgrade that's happening to Sway. So just say, imagine, you know, this is on my phone now, and it's in my pocket, and a service incident occurs. So some lag in the, oops. So what you normally would have seen is a notification. So the drawer would drop down indicating potential service incident is occurring. Oh, right there. So you see it on the top there. Right now this is still prototype code, but what would happen ideally when it rolls out is when I click on that service incident notification, it takes me to the service incident page where I can dig in and find out what the detail of that service incident is. Again, you have to enable this, and this will come to your app when it gets updated. So that was a brief demo of the admin app, and we'd love to demo it to you some more. Just feel free to come by, talk to us, or come to the booth as well. So the third tool that I wanted to talk about is just a kind of a brief overview of PowerShell. And PowerShell, like I said earlier, it's not to replace the other tools. It's to enhance it, to give you another tool, for lack of another weapon to manage your Office 365 tenant. So what is PowerShell? It's a task-based command line shell scripting language designed for system administrators to help manage Windows and apps such as Office 365. PowerShell commands are called commandlets, and a group of commandlets are called scripts. So from here, how do we set up PowerShell, or why is PowerShell? Why or when would I use PowerShell? So like I said, the Admin Center is designed for most common tasks and settings. From here, you can configure a lot of your tenant already, especially if you're doing it at a 1 user or 2 user or a few users per basis. But as soon as you have to scale that up and handle 100 or even thousands of users, it becomes quite a bit easier using PowerShell. And that's where the advantage really is enabling you to do bulk editing, even more complex filtering. So in the admin center, I can filter based on department or department and a title. But what if I want to look between multiple departments and create a user list from that? Again, this is where PowerShell has some advantages. Exporting data. If I want my user list in a CSV file, again, that's something we would need to do in PowerShell. And some of the less commonly used settings or more advanced settings, again, that happens in PowerShell. And I'll give you a quick demo. This is not by any means extensive, but just to give you a flavor of what it can do. So these are kind of a couple of steps you need to do before PowerShell starts happening. So you have to run one of the apps, and I like the PowerShell ISE one. But the key note here is you have to run it in an administrator mode. Secondly, you can sign into your tenant, and basically this script just says, okay, is your laptop, or in my case, the laptop, is it configured to run a script? And then I put in my admin credentials. And then thirdly, I would have to either import my modules or set up remote connections. The only exception here is Exchange doesn't, you don't have to import a module for Exchange, you just set up a connection. So what I will do is, so you get prompted that, and then I boot up into PowerShell. So what I've done is I've actually created some scripts, so you don't see me suffer typing, or suffer with me typing, I guess is the word. And I don't know if that's big enough. Zoom out. Oops, zoom in. So this is basically the script I just showed earlier in a Power. Maybe I'll zoom one more. In the PowerPoint slide. So when I run it, it just prompts me. Okay, what's your credential? And in this case, my demo tenant is Contoso Bellevue. So I've established my credentials, and then I import the modules and set up the remote connections. So in this case, this script basically imports the Azure Active Directory module, the SharePoint, the Skype for Business, and the sets up a remote session with Exchange. So this takes a little bit longer, but so basically this now sets it up so that now I can run the PowerShell scripts to control the individual workloads. So as that sets up, I'll just go into the next slide. So this is one of the scenarios I was going to show today. I want to import a large number of users. So in my demo, it's just going to be 5, but you can imagine if that was 500, this would be a similar case. So what I would start off with is a CSV file. So in my case, my company, Contoso Bellevue, just hired a group of lawyers for whatever reason, and this is all the credentials. So I have the CSV file, and if this is finished running, looks like it has, I'm going to import the script that I showed right here. So this script here, basically what it's saying is, for my CSV file, and these are all the parameters I'm interested in per user. I'm going to run that script. Sorry, actually, you know what? I'm going to take a step back. So I want to show you how it looks like in the admin center first. Just to show you that the PowerShell and the admin center, they're talking together, so there's some interaction. Let me again sign into my my tenant. Contoso Bellevue. Oops. So this is the start page I would see if I log into the portal today. And because I'm an admin, my admin tile lights up. And I click on this, and I'm taken to the admin center. So here in the admin center, let's take a look at my user list. This is my active users. You know what? I want to see. Let's show I don't have any legal people. So I'm going to create a filter here. and it says legal team, legal. And this is where the multi-filtering happens, because, for example, in this case, I can only enter one field at a time, or one department at a time. And so if I go legal team, okay, back to all users. If I use this filter, it's going, what legal team? You don't have a legal department. So, okay, that's cool. So let's go back to my PowerShell now. So this one, just a brief reminder. So this, what scenario I'm running here is I wanted the ability to import my legal team that I just hired. So it's 5 members in this example, but again, like you said, this can scale to a much higher. So from here, I'm going import CSV, and this is the same script I showed earlier. I run it, and this is my legal team that's now coming up in the PowerShell script, or the window here. And if I go back to my portal, if all this magic happened in the background, our legal team is there. So now I have simply inputted one team. And you can imagine if, for example, the organization moved, this is the same thing. I can export my CSV file, which I'll show later, edit the one column for all the address changes, and import it back in. And then it's quite a bit quicker. The next scenario is filtering data. Again, these scenarios I've added here. You can do it inside the admin center. But in the event that, for example, I needed to have the legal department and the sales and marketing department together for some reason, I could just edit this. I can quickly show you this as well. So in this case, okay, it's not letting me copy it. So in this case, I'll just show you this one. So this one is just a filtering the legal department. I know who the director is. It gives an output like this. But in the case, for example, this is where, for example, the admin center can't, where we go department. So this is basically where the multi-filtering works quite well in PowerShell. I now have a user list for both my legal team and my sales marketing together. So that's another scenario that's very handy to have using PowerShell. The last one I was talking about is exporting data. This you can't do in the admin center where, for example, I want all my users, I want to export it. This scenario, this script enables me to export my entire user list. In this case, I only have 25, but you can imagine, again, if it was higher, export. So this is basically exporting the user list, and I run it. And then when I go into my Contoso Bellevue users, this is, again, this is all my users. So again, that's a simple way to print out a report for saying, I want my user list. This is where you would do it. So there's a lot of other features that I'm not going to cover today of what you can do in PowerShell, and I'll talk a little bit later about additional sessions. If you want a deeper dive into PowerShell, we have another session for that. But this kind of gives you a taste of, hey, how PowerShell sits on top of the other tools that I just showed. This is an example of the more functionality. Again, this is a Skype for Business feature that you can't configure within the admin center, and this is where PowerShell enables you to kind of set these more advanced or less used features, let's say. And it's important at the end of each PowerShell session to end your sessions or disconnect your SPL service. The reason is eventually it will time out, but it takes maybe about 15 minutes. So if it's just me, if I'm the only administrator, maybe that's not a big deal. But if you have multiple administrators, then you might tie up one of the remote connections. So that's never a good thing. So for those who are new, coming soon in the next few weeks, we're launching a site called PowerShell.office.com. And what that is, it enables you, Office 365 admins, an easy way to learn about PowerShell. It really is kind of walking through the steps to how do I set up my PC, how do I import the modules, where do I download the modules. This site will kind of summarize how you get that information, kind of just quickly getting you up to speed with PowerShell. It also consolidates some of the setup information It provides some of the scenarios, or actually should cover all the scenarios I went through today, and provide you with script samples so that you can just download and just run it in your environment as well. In addition, if you get into it and you go, you know what, this PowerShell tool, it does work quite well for me, we're going to have direct links into relevant TechNet resources to enable you to get into a deeper understanding of PowerShell and then getting to the more advanced scripting. As well, we're also pointing to our Office 365 network where you will be able to communicate with us, and we can try and help you with that, as well as your peers. So this PowerShell.office.com will be coming in, I would say, about 2 to 3 weeks. And lastly, I want to talk about the Office 365 management APIs. Satya said last year, I think, the most strategic API in the company is Office 365 and its extensions, and we believe that. In the last year or 2 years, Office has really doubled down on the cloud service, and we're really trying to put all our innovations there. So solutions such as Yammer, such as groups, Office 365 groups, features that are kind of a layer across all the, what we call traditionally the workloads. We're continuing to accelerate in that direction. And what we're trying to do is provide you with API extensions so that you can leverage off of all that kind of, I guess, the layering technology we're doing. So some of the developer vision, I guess, we're looking at here is there's kind of 2 ways to plug into our API. You can look at it through the end user view, where you create an add-in, say, for Exchange, and then you put in your solution and add it to one of our products, or where I think it's a little bit more relevant for the Office 365 management APIs, you can create a solution, plug it directly to your Office 365 environment through our APIs. And that's where it kind of sits here. That's how we see this building. So today we have the Azure Active Directory Graph API. That enables you to programmatically access your Azure Active Directory through an REST API. But what we're planning to deliver is a suite of APIs under what we're calling today as Office 365 Management APIs. So the Service Communication API is an update from what we did, I would say, like a year ago, where we now added the ability for you to get to fetch the historical data of your service status, as well as be able to filter out Message Center. So if you're only looking for specific Message Center messages, you can do that now through the API. It builds on top of what we had earlier, where we give you service, where you can query for service status information, current ones, service incident, and Message Center communications. In addition, we just released or launched the Management Activity API, at least in limited release, last week at RSA. And this is where you can get your activity reports based on SharePoint Online, Exchange Online, and I believe Azure Active Directory as well. This is the API where you can get all those activity logs and really analyze the transactions that are occurring within your organization. This is just a start. These are just the first 2 APIs. And as we build up the documentation and the sample code, we'll have a site, most likely on dev.office.com, where these management APIs will reside, at least give you a framework of what we're trying to do, and then point you into more detailed documentation. The reporting API, which is on the 3rd one, seems kind of edited funny. But anyways, the reporting API is, again, what Shilpi mentioned a little bit earlier. It's coming as well to fit under this. So really the benefits to you is with these APIs, you can programmatically customize how you manage the Office 365 and how you monitor it, plug it into your solution tools as well as your business process, streamline your business, really. Opportunities for ISV, if there are any ISVs in this crowd, is really we have a huge group of customers, and like I said earlier, they're a diverse set with a lot of diverse needs. And with this API, you now have a lot of opportunity to really add a value-added layer on top of what we're providing in Office 365. Oops. So just to summarize the suite of tools, so we look at it from the Office 365 admin app. It's the on-the-go solution, enabling really a contextual look. You know, I just want a snapshot of what's going on with my tenant. This is the easiest way to do it. If I need to reset a password, again, that's the quick way to do it. The Office 365 Admin Center really is the go-to solution for us. It's kind of the out-of-box, enables you to cover the entire admin lifecycle. PowerShell enhances on top of Office 365 Admin Center by enabling you to automate some of your tasks, customize it, access more advanced functions, and then the management APIs that I just talked about, programmatic access, and giving you the ability to really innovate on top or really integrate it into your tools if you don't want to use PowerShell for that. So just to reiterate some of the key announcements that we made today, We're going to have new and improved reporting coming, was it in Q3 of this year? Workload-specific admin roles are coming, targeted for June. Notifications to Office 365 and Office 365 admin app and PowerShell.office.com is coming in the coming weeks. And then the Office 365 Management API, which is currently, they're going to be in preview in about, I think, end of the month for the Service Communications API. For the Management Activity API, it's already in limited preview, and it will roll out to a more fuller preview in the summer. So what we're also interested in hearing from you, because we've said a lot today, but we really want to hear your feedback as well. So what we've arranged this time around, and we hope you come, and I'll be honest, we were kind of limiting the seats because we want it really to be a conversation, is we're looking at, we have a couple of focus groups, so one on the modern Office 365 administration, kind of where we're going with administration, both on the admin center and the admin app. We have deployment and onboarding, how we can simplify the onboarding experience into Office 365. Again, there's a focus group on that. We're going to, Shilpi is going to dive deeper into some of the admin reporting, both in product, so the Office 365 reports that you saw, as well as the reporting API that is going to come in the future. If you're a dev, we're interested in hearing what your thoughts are on how to make your lives easier to develop against a reporting API, for example. For more information of this, we'll have it at the admin booth in the expo. We have sign-up sheets here, at least for the reporting API, and I'm sure we can sign up for all the focus groups, for all the reporting focus groups. And lastly, if you're looking for more information, these are the breakout sessions that I encourage you to go. If you want to know more about the Office 365 management APIs, there's a session tomorrow, BRK 2180. There's, if you want to know more about the best practices, like really dig into, some of the best practices we've accumulated through running Office 365. There's a BRK 3179 session that's occurring also, I believe, on Wednesday. I could be wrong. And then the power of the shell, Wes here, he's going to go into more advanced PowerShell. So if you're into PowerShell, again, that's a great way to get into a little more detail. And then lastly, if you're new to PowerShell, we have a new hands-on lab that I encourage you to take. It kind of introduces you kind of to what I walked through, some of the scenarios. These are some resources that we have, so I encourage you, please, please, please. We do devote a lot of attention to it, and we are continuously trying to communicate better through change management. We do a lot of that through the Office 365 roadmap, where we publicly give you visibility of some of the bigger rocks that are coming down. Office blogs is, again, where we communicate. The 365 Office 365 network, this is our where you communicate with your peers as well as with us and some of the product teams. PowerShell for Office 365 on PowerShell.office.com is coming in the coming weeks. And dev.office.com, a good developer resource. And then as well, if you have questions around trust and compliance, the Office 365 Trust Center is another good resource. Today we also have Stephanie here in the audience. If you're looking for she's looking for direct feedback on Office 365 Admin Center. So if you have any feedback, she'd love to hear from you as well as us. So I think that was all we had covered for today. So I don't know if you guys had any questions.